Hey y'all, it's me Marty. I am done driving for the day and I am at it's the Dresbach, Minnesota rest area on I-90. It's near La Crescent. It's in the southeast corner of Minnesota. It's in the bluff area of Minnesota. It's really pretty. You can see the bluffs all around here and the Mississippi River behind me. This is a little rest area welcome center actually as you come into Minnesota from Wisconsin. That bridge over there is well, that's the bridge going to Wisconsin. That's Wisconsin across the river. And so yeah, this is the last stop before you go over the bridge going into Wisconsin. So I'm done driving for the day and calling it a day here at the rest area. And yeah, so I thought I'd do a little video here, show you around a little bit here. And yeah, I might do a live stream tomorrow morning if I have good enough reception. If not, I might well, I'm only an hour from where, well, it's Saturday evening now. I'm delivering in Wilton, Wisconsin Monday morning, so I'm only an hour away. So I'll just sleep in the morning and then head that direction. And but if I can't do a live stream here, I might actually do it at a rest area just over the border in Wisconsin before I get to where I'm going. And yeah, we'll see how it works. But anyway, I thought I'd do a little video here, just show you a little bit here. And I want to talk about fire cans and fire kits. But you gotta figure out a place where I want to sit here. There's a lot of picnic tables. I think I see one I want to go to that's a little a ways away from all the trucks. I was the only truck when I got here. Now a few more trucks are coming in and cars. But let's walk down here a little ways. I think I see one over in the grass with a tree overlooking the water. Might be a nice place to do a little video. This is pretty. Nice to be back in Minnesota. I'll unload Monday morning and get a short reload home, I think, and then be home for a week or so. The Mississippi River, the mighty Mississippi. You can see way over there, there's a couple of barges, and well, there's a whole bunch of small boats too, people fishing, I think. And then there's a barge there, and then another bigger boat. I don't know if it's a barge. And then there's an old bridge there. I'm assuming at one time that was a road or a railroad that went across. Not sure. And then over here, there's another barge, a couple of barges, another boat. And there's the bridge going over to Wisconsin. Really nice. Whoa, let's zoom out here. Really nice rest area here, really clean. It's always nice when there's a view, then places to sit and things to do. There's one right here. There's one down there. Let's do the one down here. A little more private. I'm gonna sit at the picnic table and show y'all my fire cans and fire kit and talk about them a little bit. Okay. Nice little backdrop there. Mississippi River behind me, and that's Wisconsin shore behind me too. Okay, so talk about two different things in this video besides showing you this beautiful rest area. I'll show you a little bit more too. I'm gonna walk, after I talk about fire kits and fire cans, I'm gonna walk down this way a little bit and see how close I can get to the water. And then zoom in on the what do you call them, the barge boats, tugboats, or I don't know, I'm not sure what they are. They're pretty big, but anyway, I'll do that a little bit too, kind of make it a fun video. So I want to talk about fire cans, and you know what, I want to talk about fire kits too, so maybe I'll talk about the fire kit first. So, and I've talked about fire kits before, and I've talked about fire cans before, and the importance of fire in being able to make a fire and knowing different ways to make a fire and being prepared to make a fire, having something on you all the time, really. And I'm talking, you know, backpacking, hiking, bushcraft, camping, just going for a walk in the woods, or being outdoors, or being on an adventure, exploring a place, or just being out anywhere where you might want to build a fire, and maybe an emergency situation or a survival situation. You might want to build a fire or need to build a fire. And so I think it's really good to have a fire kit, okay, in your backpack. And I have one in all my backpacks. So this is my small one that I have in my new summer bushcraft pack that I have. I love it. And I have one that's a little bit bigger than this in my bigger pack, my black and green one. My spring, fall, winter pack. That one's a little bit bigger. This one's a little bit smaller, but it still has a lot in it. And I have a couple other fire kits too. As a matter of fact, I just made a fire kit for my wife and gave to her for our anniversary, and so she has it in her pack now too. And you know, you don't have to go crazy and have one of these on your belt everywhere you go, but it's not a bad idea. I mean, I've been reading some books and watching movies about people that were in really hard situations, and if they could have built a fire, they could have saved limbs and they could have, you know, kept from getting frostbite. They maybe could have survived. People have died because they couldn't build a fire. And there's lots of reasons to be able to build a fire. So yeah, you don't have to carry one of those on your belt, but I don't know. I have a lighter or a ferro rod in my pocket all the time, just because you never know. But at least have one in your pack, you know, in your small day pack or a big backpack, a waist pack. I have one in every one of those, just because you never know. Just always have one with you when you go out somewhere. And yeah, there's reasons for knowing how to be able to build a fire, and what's the value of fire, you know. Why is it good to be able to build a fire? Well, what's the benefits of a fire? Well, if you can build a fire, if you're in the woods, if you're on a trail, whether, let's say, just for enjoyment or camping, or if you're really cold, or, you know, or maybe it is a survival or emergency situation, you can get a lot from fire. You can get light from fire. You can get heat from fire, so you can warm up the fire. You can dry out clothes that are wet. You fell in a cold stream, or you're sweaty from hiking, or wet from snow or whatever. You can dry clothes on the fire, by the fire. And you can boil water on a fire to purify water to drink. You can boil water to cook food, and to make coffee and tea and hot chocolate and soup and stuff like that. You can cook food on a fire. The fire will help keep away the bugs. It'll help keep away animals. You can use the fire to signal for help. And just to be able to have a fire, especially if you're lost or whatever, is just nice to have a fire. It's just really enjoyable to sit by a fire, and so many benefits from a fire. But that's kind of some of the main ones. I think I hit them all? You can get a lot from a fire, yeah. So it's important to know how to build one and to have the gear with you to be able to build a fire. And I don't know all the different ways of making a fire, but I have a lot in my kit. So I'm going to show you what I have in my kit. So this is just a little military surplus pack. I like these durable, it's really heavy duty nylon little pouches, good zippers. They got Molly on them, and you could attach these to your outside of your backpack. I just have mine in my pack, but the other one I have is in my bigger pack is a little bit bigger, and I have like a place for a patch on there, and I have a flag on there. But yeah, I have a lot of stuff in here. So I have tinder in here. Okay, so it's important, if you're going to build a fire, you have to have tinder, and that's something that you're going to light to get the fire going. And so I have a bunch of different things in this little baggie here. I have birch bark, which is my favorite tinder to start a fire. I have dryer lint, which is another really good fire starter. It's not natural, but it's free, and everybody has dryer lint. Everybody has belly button lint. I want to try my belly button lint sometime, see if it'll catch. I bet it would. I mean, I take it out of my belly button first, but you know. Anywho, and then I have some little fire starters in here from Walmart. I have some shavings in here from Carving Spoons, some little shavings of wood. And my wife and I went on a hike a couple weeks ago just close to town, and we got some this furry stuff from cattails. And I'm not sure, but I haven't tried it yet, but I'm guessing it's going to be a good fire starter too. And some, yeah, just a whole bunch of different little things in there for starting a fire, or for the tinder. Now for starting the fire, I have a few different things in here. So I'm not going to take it all out. I have a whole bunch of well, I have two different kinds of matches in here. I have some waterproof matches, and I have some windproof matches. Okay, and then I have a big lighter in here. Okay, then I have try to show you it all and still put it back in here. Then I have a ferro rod with a striker. You know what? I'll put it together. I'll put it back in there after the video. Then I actually have another lighter in there. It's kind of like an old Zippo, but it's actually like a torch one. I don't know what you want to call it, but this would be good if it's really windy. Then I have a mirror in here, which you can start a fire with using the sun, and you can also signal for help. And then you can also, you know, use it if you cut yourself, or you got to look at something, or you got something in your eye, or you want to pick zits or whatever. You know, that's a fire starter and other uses. And then I have a knife in here, just an extra pocket knife for striking a ferro rod, or cutting up tinder and making shavings and feather sticks and that kind of stuff. And then I have a magnesium rod in here, and I haven't really used this. I should try it. I'm going to do a video trying all the different ways you can start a fire. But this, you scrape the magnesium out into a little pile, and then you strike it, and it can spark it. So there's actually a ferro rod on this also. So that's another fire starter. And then I have another ferro rod. This is the kind you get from Walmart. They're orange usually, which is nice because they're easy to find if you drop them in the grass or the leaves. But I don't like orange, so I put camo on everything, so I'm just careful not to drop them. But that's another ferro rod. So I got two ferro rods in there, two lighters. I have multiple ways to start a fire, and that's about it. And sometimes I have more stuff in there and more tinder in there. I know you're thinking, why have so many things? Well, last winter I went in our backyard. So we have about 2-acre hobby farm, and I have a little bushcraft area back in the corner on my tree house, and bushcraft area and stuff. And sometimes I have a little fire back there. Then we have another area where we have big fire. We have a few different places in our yard where we have fires. We love our fires, my wife and I. And I went down one morning, and it was like early winter, I think, and everything was wet and cold and damp and everything, and I wanted to start a fire. And I had my fire kit with me, one of my fire kits, and I had all that stuff. And I went, and I just wanted to see what I could get, you know, going. I used up all the matches. The lighter ran out of stuff. I couldn't get the ferro rod to work. I used up all my tinder. I couldn't get anything to go. And it was a good example that you could have a whole bunch of stuff and still not get a fire going. So it's good to have a whole bunch of different ways to be able to start a fire. Because it doesn't take up much room, for one thing. In emergency or survival situation, you want to be able to start a fire. You have to, for life, to save your life. And so why not have a little kit with lots of different ways and some redundancy? Have more than one of the different ways too. I have a couple lighters, I got a couple ferro rods, and I have 2 or 3 more ferro rods and lighters in my pack also. Just why not? They don't take up much room, and in an emergency you're going to be glad you did. So yeah, there's other ways you can start a fire too. You can have like a flint and steel thing. I don't have one of those. Someday it'd be fun to get one of those. And I'd like to learn how to make a bow drill. You can do that out of sticks and stuff, and some paracord or twine, or even pine root or whatever. So there's other ways you can start fires, but these are some of the main ones. Now here's the thing with my kit. I try not to use the lighter or the matches at all. I want to keep them for a real emergency. So if it's a real emergency or survival situation, you don't want to sit and learn bushcraft skills and try your ferro rod or flint and steel or other stuff. You want to just get the fire going because it's for your survival. So that's when I would use the lighter or the matches. They're in there for survival or emergency. I like the ferro rods for for starting a fire. I like to just, you know, get it all ready and then just make a spark for my ferro rod and make the fire that way. So it's fun to learn new ways and different ways of starting a fire, but save the easy ways, the lighters and the matches and those different things for emergency, because in emergency situation you don't want to be learning and having fun. You just want to get a fire going. So that's my fire kit, and it's just neat to have. And again, there's the value and importance of being able to start a fire is so important, and you just never know. So it's good to have that in your pack always. So that's that. Yeah. So and when you start a fire, it's kind of funny. When I used to, up until a couple of years ago, when I started to get into bushcraft and backpacking, hiking and camping and stuff more, before that, when we'd have a bonfire, I mean, my whole life we've been having bonfires, campfires, and, you know, I'd throw a couple logs on, you know, or scrap wood or whatever, and put lighter fluid on it and light it. Maybe use some newspaper or whatever. I don't do that anymore. I mean, if I want to just get something going or burn up a whole bunch of stuff, but if I want to have a campfire, I like to do it the bushcrafty way. So I'll get some logs and I'll split them with my little hatchet or my knife, or you know, split the log, or find a branch, cut the logs, then split them into smaller pieces, and then get some dry twigs for kindling, and then find some birch bark. That's the thing too. The tinder I have in my fire kit, I don't touch. I just keep that in there, in case I can't find any. But if we're out on a hike or we're out camping, I'll try to find some birch bark or some tinder. But yeah, so then I'll have my tinder, and I'll make a little tinder bundle thing, and then I'll use my ferro rod and make a spark and get it lit, and then I'll put the twigs on there, and then I'll put the small wood, and then the bigger wood, and then the logs, and then that's why they call it building a fire, because you have to, you know, prepare, have everything cut and everything ready, and then start it. And it's kind of neat because my wife is getting into starting fires too, so that's why she wanted a fire kit, so I put one together for her. And when we were up on the North Shore, she started the fires that we had, and she's having fun with that too. It's kind of fun to see if you can do it on one spark, or even if it takes a few, it's okay. But so yeah, it's kind of neat. So it's important to have a fire kit, and a lot of people just have a lighter or something, but why not have a few more things? It doesn't take up much room. And I like kits. I like my pouches and bags, and a lot of people don't like that, and they think it's funny, but better than having things all over your pack. I like to have them in kits, in pouches, and I like the bags and pouches that I have. I like that. It's just fun, and it keeps things organized, and you can find things when you need it. I know where everything is for starting a fire. It's in my fire kit. So, okay, now I want to talk about fire cans. Okay, and I've done this before too. I talked about these, but I just want to show you these, and I have a whole bunch that I had in the truck that I had made. So before I show you these, I want to talk about the idea of this. Basically, is if you're camping or hiking or somewhere where, you know, maybe it's not allowed to have a big campfire, or you don't want a big one, so you want a self-contained fire where you're not going to get any sparks or ashes or going anywhere too much. And they make some different things, and if you have the money and you want to buy them, that's great. I think this is fun because this is a DIY, and it's free, and it's fun, and they work great. You can buy a firebox. A firebox is it's flat, and there's different companies. I think Firebox might be one of the brands. I don't know. But it's sort of flat in like a pouch, and you take it out, and it's metal, and you got to put it together, and then it's a square box, and it's basically a twig stove. It's a self-contained little fire. You can put scrap wood in there, or you can split wood, you can use branches or whatever, or twigs, and build a little fire in there. And what's neat about it is you can have a little self-contained fire, but you can also cook on it. You can also boil water on it. So it's really a neat idea. So that's a firebox. Then they started making these solo stoves, and they're round, kind of like these. And same idea. It's like a little self-contained mini campfire, and you can also cook on them. So those are two that are out there that you can buy. But a couple years ago, I seen that people were making, and I like these. Okay, so I like the idea of a homemade fire can for a few reasons. One, it's free. You're buying the food or the coffee or whatever you're using, so the can is free. Use a can opener, just put holes, or the regular, what do you call it? Some people call it, was it church key or something? I don't know. There's some different weird names for them, but regular can opener. Put holes around the top, holes around the bottom. You can punch some holes in there. Sometimes I do that. Fire needs air to breathe, to go. So you want to be able to have air to be able to go in. So sometimes I'll put punch holes on them. Sometimes I'll put a little opening where you could feed the fire, which is nice. If you have a pan or a pot on top, then you can feed wood in here to keep the fire going. I don't like doing that too much though. I did that in my first couple, but now I don't. You can if you want. I don't like it because it's another place where ashes can blow out. And if I want to add wood, just take the pot off and add a couple sticks. I mean, it's not that big a deal. Just use the hole in the top to add. So that's what I like. So they're easy to make. Take the food out. You're going to eat it probably. Rinse it out. Take the label out. Make sure it's not a can that has a plastic lining. Some of them have that sometimes. Usually when it's like tomatoes or something. I don't know. Not always, but if it does, you can, the first couple of times, you'll burn it away, but it's plastic or whatever, but that coating. So it's better to get ones that don't have that in there. Yeah, just put holes around it and it's ready to use. And it's just, I like it because you don't have to put it together. That's another reason. It's always there. It's always ready. And I like because it's round. I like round things better than square because I have a lot of other round things, and that's a neat thing too. You can store stuff in it. And I'll show you a little thing you can do here with a few different things in a minute. But yeah, and it's a DIY project, so it's free, it's round, it's solid, it's a DIY project. It's really efficient. They work great. I mean, you can see I just keep making them. I have all different sizes. So I have all these different sizes, and I'll show you the different ones here. And I'll start with the biggest one here, but I have one actually bigger at home. It's a pot. I think it's an 8-quart kettle. We had 2 of them, and I asked my wife if I could have one for a fire can. And I drilled holes on that one. That one has handles, and it's about this big. And that one is like a campfire. We actually used it at our church for our Harvest Fest last year. There was like 5, 6, 7 people sitting around it enjoying a fire, and it was just so fun. And we've used it at home a couple times this past winter. We had a little self-contained fire. When we couldn't get to the fire, we had like 6, 8 feet of snow in our yard. We couldn't get to the fire pits, but we could have that anywhere. So we had it on the deck one time, in the driveway one time, in the snow one time. So that one works really good too. And that's so you can make any size. You know how you can get big cans of beans or fruit cocktail or tomato paste or ketchup or whatever in the big cans, 5 or 6 pound cans. You can do those too. You can use coffee cans if you can find metal coffee cans anymore. I do have one here. And yeah, so you can make any size you want. So I have this one here, and this is a neat size for a bigger one. And this is from a 38-ounce chili can. This one here is a 15-ounce tamale can. This one's a 20-ounce soup can. This one's a 16-ounce pineapple can. This one's kind of neat because it's wider but shorter, and this was a Dinty Moore stew can, 15-ounce. So that one's a neat size, and that one's kind of neat too. It's a little more, it's shorter. Like if you're going to put a pot or pan on, you can do it on these easily. But this is kind of nice because it's a little more low profile. And then getting smaller, this is a chicken can, a 10-ounce chicken can. Now this is a smaller fire. You're not going to get as much from it, but you'll still have a fire in there and you can still cook on it. And again, these, you could call these, I call them fire cans, but you could call them stoves too, because you can cook on them. You can boil water on them, you can cook food on them. And yeah, so here's a 5-ounce tuna can, okay? And here is my Fancy Feast cat food can. Okay, this is a 3-ounce from a Fancy Feast cat food. Now this one, so all of these I call them fire cans. They're really stoves too. This one is really a stove. I punched holes around the top, and you can put denatured alcohol in here, or the heat in the yellow can, the stuff you use in your car. Put just like an ounce in there, and you can boil water in a couple minutes. And what's neat is, let's say this is your pot, You just set it on there. You don't need a pot stand. It is the pot stand. It's the stove and the pot stand. And it's free. Yeah, you can buy Trangia alcohol stoves and different ones like that, and they're expensive. They're great, but this is free and it's light. And you go like that, and you can boil water on it, cook coffee, and it's just really cool. As a matter of fact, these can also be, all these cans, you could also make pots out of them too. So those are all some of the different size fire cans I have, and my Fancy Feast cat food can. And then I have this one, and I've showed this before. This is it's a coffee can, a 10 ounce, 1 pound, I think, coffee can. And it was Cafe Bustelo is the brand, and I think Chock full of Nuts is another coffee brand that has the same kind of can, and it has these lines on here. They're grooves. Well, it's actually kind of cool because that's half a cup right there, and that's 1 cup. That's 1 cup right there, and then it's another. Each one's a half, I think. So it's 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3. Yeah, and actually 4. If you filled it to the top, it'd be 4. 4 cups of water, and so it's already there, so you can measure out your water for your like backpacking meals or whatever you're making. So I didn't use this one as a fire can. I use this as an example for this can actually be a cook pot, and keep the lid too, so you can put all your stuff in there for cooking, and put a cover on here. And I have just one of these just like this in one of my other packs. So this could be your cook kit. So what's cool about that too is, so this is your pot for actually putting the food in, or the water in, or the coffee in. And if you use like this size, this can be your fire can for having a fire in, and it fits inside there. Then you could also take your Fancy Feast stove, and that fits in there. See, because they're already made and you don't got to put them together, and they're round, other round things fit in them. You could put a lighter in there. You could put some tin foil in there for a wind screen thing, or windbreak. You could put a sponge in there for cleaning the pot out after you're done eating. You could put a spoon in there. You could put salt and pepper in there, and all in this neat little DIY cook kit. I've done a video on that before, so just kind of cool. But yeah, I don't know. And I was gonna actually have a little fire here, but there's a couple of people out here, maintenance people, and I didn't know if I should do a fire. This is a concrete table, and it's not real dry, and it's not windy. I probably could. And I have, sometimes when I do a little fire like this outside, I'll put it in a pan. I have like a metal pan or a tin pan, just to, make sure nothing blows anywhere else. But it is so fun to start a little fire in one of these, and it's just when you can't have a big fire, you can have a little campfire in a can, basically. So yeah, so I just really enjoy this DIY project of making fire cans, and I like making fire kits, and they're both important and good to have. I have a fire kit and a fire can and a cook pot and all those things in all of my packs. So, and even in a small day pack, you could have a fire can and a pot like that. And for that matter, you could have your fire kit in the cook pot, in the fire can, all together in one thing. I mean, you could have this, and you could have, your fire kit in here, and this in here, and then you could also put your ferro rods and your lighters in there. You could all have it all in one kit. So you could have your cook pot and your fire can and your fire kit for starting fires all in one thing. So anyway, yeah. Oh, it's a nice day. Sun's gonna be going down pretty soon, so I'm gonna throw all this stuff in the bag, take my tripod down, and go walk down by the water quick before I end this video. So hope you enjoyed this. The mighty Mississippi. See if I can zoom in farther over there. Whoa, pretty shaky, but yeah, there's a oh gosh, there's like 3-4 small boats, people fishing the way it looks. And there's a couple barges, and then there's a couple of barge boats, tugs or whatever you call them, and then there's that old bridge. probably a historic bridge, and I don't know if it was for cars or a train trestle. Not sure. I don't know. There's something on it over there. I don't know what it's used for anymore, but there's a little house down there at the shore. Yeah, and that's the shore of Wisconsin over there. Bugs are coming out. Yeah, back in Minnesota. It's nice to be home. But it's funny how going around the country, I've realized that I love Minnesota. That's where I live, and it's my favorite state still. Even with the long winters and mosquitoes, it's still my favorite. But it's funny how there's not a lot of bugs in other states. Minnesota probably has more bugs than most states. I mean, Florida probably does too, the Everglades and all that water. But Minnesota probably has more bugs than most states. Probably Wisconsin too. All the water. We got 10,000 lakes. Actually, we have like 11,842 last count. We just keep getting more lakes. Let's see here. I don't know how close I can get to the water here. And that's I-90 there, going over the Mississippi River to Wisconsin. Oh, I think I can walk down here a little closer. Here, zoom in on this other barge over here. Yeah, a couple of barges there. Cool looking boat there. Oh, there's people over there. Oh, it's moving. Yeah, they're going to be moving that. So, it might be moving soon. Huh. Going upriver or downriver. Okay, let's walk down here real quick. I can do this without falling. Bugs. Little trail here. Whoa. Yeah, this is steep. Oh, good night. It didn't look this steep. You can hear the birds. Oh, the flowers are blooming. Bugs are swarming. Hey, this is pretty cool. Yeah, it's like a concrete thing here that they made. And rocks. Boy, I can almost get down and touch the water. You know, if it was a lake, I would take my shoes off and put my feet in. But rivers aren't that clean. Oh, it's nice to be down by the water, though, a little bit here. Oh, look at that. Those look like a dog or cat prints. They walked in it when this was soft, when they made this concrete thing. That's funny. Funny. And tree roots and stumps and green things growing here. Pretty. Big old bridge there. Barge. Oh, there's a boat scooting across the water there. He's cruising. He's booking. And some waves coming in from that boat. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna hang out for a little bit and I'll mosey up to the truck and make some supper and settle in for the night. And if I have reception, I'm gonna try live stream in the morning, so we'll see. Stay tuned for that. I'll give it a try. Thanks for joining me on this little video here. Oh, ramble at a rest area here in southeastern Minnesota and talking about my fire kit and fire cans. Hope you enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you did. Watch my other videos if you like them. Subscribe to my channel if you like it. And yeah, get out and enjoy the outdoors and live life fully. Cherish every moment of life, because life is short. So cherish it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.